All right, sports fans, we are here on location, Rocky Stone Field, getting you caught up on all Maritime football action going on this season. Playoffs coming up. Both playoffs games going to be covered here on Rogers TV, June 15th and 22nd. For the final, we're going to be joined by head coach for the Moncton Mustangs, Jason Terrace. Jason, exciting season here at Rocky Stone so far. Maybe tell us a little bit about your success of the first place Mustangs here so far.
Well, the success has been, we've worked really hard at it. Every team in the league has been strong, so we've been challenged every time that we've stepped on the field. From the second place team, since we're the first, to the fifth or the sixth place team, it's been a rough time, but it's been good for our roster to develop championship qualities in us. We're trying to identify the things that are put us over the edge. We're not the defending champions this year, so we're trying to get the eye of the tiger back.
Absolutely, and like you said, the caliber of the league really improved the last couple of years. There's some high-end football, especially since sort of moving to a spring schedule that allows a lot of the university-style players to be able to come and play. Like you said, most players on the roster either in university, have played university, or entering into university. Maybe tell us a little bit about sort of the caliber of the league and how high-end of quality of football this is.
Yeah, I mean we've got impact players that have played at U Sports and that have played for us, that have gone on to make an impact at U Sports. You know, Caden Boomer last year in the fall, having the impact that he has in Ontario, and with Josh Hicks going on to play for us for a couple of years and then moving to play pro in Sweden. So the caliber of football players that we have and across the league continues to improve, and if fans come out to watch us, they'll be definitely entertained by some good football.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, games have been great. Got a big game coming up this Saturday here against the Wanderers. Like I said, a competitive, battle here that goes back quite a few seasons here. The not the feud, but I guess the rivalry goes back a little ways. Maybe tell us a little bit about the challenge that's coming up here this weekend.
Yeah, I mean, the rivalry that we have with St. John goes back 20 plus years. We were basically the first two of three teams to start the league back in 2001. And there's been some intense football games between the two of us since. It comes down to the last play of the game and just some things, just incredible football games if we go back to watch film. They are making a comeback from the start of the season. They started the season with 2 losses, and I think it gave them some fire to come back with 3 wins, and it wasn't a cakewalk. Even when we played them last, they were beating us in the first half, and proud of our boys to turn things around and come back with a win. But they're hungry. They haven't won a championship for a few years, and I know those guys. They're always thinking win, 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 and W versus everybody and all that stuff. So they're going to come to play a really tough, hard-nosed St. John Moncton football game.
Yep. Like I said, St. John's got a big physical team. They'll be ready to play on Saturday. But your roster made up, got some pretty solid veterans on the squad, but some pretty balanced roster here with some young up-and-comers as well here. Maybe tell us a little bit about the mix you've had so far here from the players this season.
Yeah, I mean, talking about our vets, we've got Cam, Morley, and Dave that they'll be doing interviews in a bit. But some new veteran players like Dylan Waugh that has made an impact at the AFL level, and and then Greg Kinsman, a vet offensive lineman, and Matt Rose has been with us for a long time. We've got a solid group of returning vets that's shown a lot of good leadership and has brought our roster under their wings to foster the Mustangs championship culture and family community that we continue to foster. There's young guys like Sambawa. When he gets a ball, he's made an impact. Blake Grossman on the other side of the ball on defense. Then you get guys like Adrian Thompson from Mount A and Adam Shambe that unfortunately he tore his Achilles, but he was an impact player for us too. So I mean there's all kinds of impact players that are and vet role players like Brady Morris too. Like he's just he's never been the starter, but the dude has a ton of heart. So guys like that make a big impact all over the place. So it's we've got an awesome group, and I'm proud of every one of them.
Yep. Like you said, a pretty solid roster, but a pretty good program that's sort of getting developed and having kids come in basically from the local high schools here that have been doing a good job of sort of developing the talent to move on. Maybe tell us about how great it's been to have, some schools like Riverview, Moncton High, Trimble, McNaughton, that sort of thing that have really been developing players. Odyssey as well, half our offense is from Odyssey. Maybe tell us about, how the players come up sort of through the program and then sort of come out here to the Mustangs to perform.
Yeah, we've been fortunate to have a lot of fantastic high school programs in the area lately. Riverview winning 2 provincial championships in a row. Harrison Trumbull is continuing to have an awesome program. They had their player just out at the CFC game that had an awesome impact last night, and they've had guys. Come through the program for us, and Moncton High has always had a strong contingent, and that has an impact for us, and guys that have stuck around that have been solid vets for us, and we're totally grateful for all the strong high school the coaches and the leaders that have developed a ton of awesome prospects that we've been the beneficiary of. So it's good.
Yeah, it's great for them to have an opportunity to continue their football playing career here as well with the Mustangs. I guess on a bit of a personal for yourself, became the winningest coach here in Mustangs history this year. Maybe tell us a little about, the years you've put in, not only as a player, but as a coach here as well, and how rewarding it is for you to see the success of the program.
Yeah, I guess it just means I'm getting old, I suppose. I don't know. It's been awesome. Just as good as the people around you. So we've developed an awesome staff of 14 or 15 coaches that contribute amazing ways, and and because of the way that everybody's bought into the family and the team, it's just developed such an awesome community that everybody wants to be part of. So. We try to keep the good people and try to keep the bad people away, and the better we can do that, the better it's going to be for everybody. So we just are having a lot of fun out here for sure.
Yep. Well, like I said, a lot of fun watching you guys play football here. Going to be an exciting time for fans. Saturday afternoons, come out at Rocky Stone, catch a great game here under the sun, hopefully, and some hard-nosed, hard-hitting football the next 3 weeks here at Rocky Stone, hopefully. So, again, big thanks to Jason Terrace here for taking some time for us, and we'll talk to you in a bit. Exciting season for you guys so far, 5-0 here. Heading into the playoffs coming up here next week. Not looking past a big game coming up Saturday here against St. John Wanderers here at Rocky Stone. Maybe tell us a little about how your season's gone so far and how you're preparing this week here for the Wanderers.
Well, it's no different than any other week. Regardless of the fact that we've secured our spot this week or last week for the playoffs. The league has been ultra competitive, so it's been incredibly fun to play. Each game, they've been close. You can't come in with a mindset that you're gonna, completely walk over an opponent, because it's just not been the case. So we have to prepare, best case scenario, worst case scenario, and no different this week. We're gonna get ready for St. John and walk into the playoffs as we typically do every year.
Yep. Like you said, going to be a tough battle. Solid start for you guys offensively this year. Like I said, a little bit for yourself. Kind of interesting to see the roster this year. A lot of guys from Odyssey, especially on the offensive side. All 3 quarterbacks from the Olympians. Maybe tell us about how fun it is for you playing quarterback, and a little bit about your journey here through high school coming up through the Odyssey system.
Well, I think the Mustangs is one of the best programs that I've played football in. There's a lot of great people. There's a lot of my past, a lot of my friends and colleagues that I've frequented over the years. Benoit Cormier, we've been throwing the ball since we met in high school, and every year, every summer, we've been preparing for youth sports, and now we get to play, men's league football, on Saturdays. It's just been the best. And just seeing the guys come up, Jeremy Hayes, Taylor Boudreau as well, Johnny T, all the guys that been part of the Odyssey program. You know, it speaks to how much success that program has had over the years for the guys, and it's been unreal. You know, the offense this year, we've had some ups, we've had some downs, but I think the moral of the story is we've gone up every week, we've gotten better. And that's going to be the case this week again.
As well, eh? You mentioned Ben Cormier, former stand-up with St. FX in Queens. You did a pretty good job of recruiting him to come out this year. Maybe tell us a little bit. Like you said, you've had a relationship going back years, even before high school. How fun is it for you to actually be out here, you know, playing pretty much catcher with like your old buddies back in the day?
Like I said, I mean, you know, Ben and I, we would go out 3-4 times a week on summer nights just to throw the ball. I mean, that would be our thing. And you know, last year we were both in OUA programs, and we were looking at each other, trying to compete as much as we could. And you know, I told him the same thing that I told other guys when I tried to recruit them. You know, this is the best program that you'll play for. Yeah. And I really believe that. And so when he when I got the opportunity to get him over, I think he was a little hesitant, but you know, for the love of the game, that's what we do, right? We come play for each other. So
that's right.
Very happy that he was able to join us. And I mean, back-to-back 100-yard games, like the guy's a stud. I mean, doesn't get much better than that.
Not at all. He's a huge pickup for the Mustangs, and like you said, great to have former teammates out playing together, obviously as a unit. But like you said, you know, the success you've had not only here with the Mustangs after Odyssey went on to play at Mount A. Maybe tell us a little about how this compares sort of to your university experience as well.
Oh, definitely. I mean, you know, there's a lot of great players in this league, whether they're older, whether they're younger, coming out of high school or currently playing university. So you get a lot of everything. Coming out of high school, you know, took a year off just because I didn't know what I wanted to do, and I thought football was in the rearview mirror. Yeah. But Mount A kind of reignited everything for me, and unfortunately, we went through, you know, again, ups and downs with COVID, and I really only got the chance to play 1 year with the Mounties, you know, on the field. But you know, I learned so much, and ultimately, what it gave me was great relationships, just a betterment in my life in terms of football, social. And education, and got me, you know, in another youth sports program at U Ottawa for an off season, and I really owe it to Mount A. If I could go back, I would in a heartbeat. So every single decision I've made, I think, has been the right one for me.
Yeah. Well, you make a lot of good decisions under center, and you're pretty good with the ball. It helps when you have a good O-line and some good running backs as well. Maybe tell us a little about, and even, you know, fans watching may not appreciate or realize how big some of these players are until you get down and stand beside them. Maybe tell us about, you know, how crucial it is to have a good offensive line and sort of a running game to lean on as well in times.
Of course. I mean, you know, our offense has just been a variety of you know, different plays and formations, but really at the base we are a run first team. I mean, the bodies that we have in front, I mean, we have vets and younglings, as I would call them. You know, Greg Kingsman, he's just unbelievable. Great voice on the team. Colby is just doing a wonderful job at the helm at center. And, I mean, you know, all over. We have Seb. We have who else, man? Marshall's been just unbelievable, and so we even have Keenan, who came from 9-man football, and he's just been unbelievable, making that step from 9-man to, you know, big man football. So ultimately,
and coming in from Miramichi too.
From Miramichi as well. So I mean, he made lots of strides, and again, he's impressed everyone. And then we have just unreal depth at running back. I mean, we can always rely on Cam Morley busting a couple of 10, 15-yard runs and getting the end zone, you know, just clean. And then the addition of Dylan Waugh as well this year has just been, I mean, he's a stud as well. And just a bunch of rookies that are making statements. Daniel Spector, Bawa, you know, even though they're not seeing the field as much, they're ready to go, and they are fast. Yeah. So just it's been unbelievable. Brady and Rylan, just unbelievable.
Yeah, like you said, some pretty good depth in the backfield, but pretty good depth at quarterback too. Got a couple backup quarterbacks also came through Odyssey. Maybe tell us about how, you know, even having some younger guys, does that help push you to sort of get better every week, knowing that you got some young guys maybe nipping at your heels?
Oh man, Jared and I mean, we've had a great relationship. I mean, I think we've had very similar paths, and we both know it, and we support each other, you know, every day, and it's been like that for some time, for a couple of years now. You know, he would send me some videos, just trying to get corrections done on his throwing mechanics, and it's been fun and natural. So I just want to see him play. I was telling you earlier. I mean, we haven't gotten the chance to really get the boys to spread their wings a little bit, but I mean, even Taylor. Taylor took his bravery and boom, went on the other side of the ball to experience a little bit more to football, and he's doing just a great job. So, I mean, the Odyssey Bond is best quarterbacks in the province, in my opinion.
Yeah. Well, even like you said, the Odyssey Bond. Johnny Terrio talking about how cool it is for him playing, having watched you guys in high school as a kid.
Right.
And being able to get a chance to play with you, how big of a dream that was for him. Maybe tell us about how, almost, having people look up to you sort of thing as you come up through the system, and how cool it is for them to actually be able to suit up and play with some of their idols sort of thing in football.
I think it's, when you're playing football in MFL as an older head, even though, I'm
Still young, yeah.
I think there's an opportunity to step into a position of leadership where you have been through those experiences and you've seen those different situations, and instinctively we should support each other, and I think that's what we've been doing with the younger guys. So it's not about coaching them on what they should do. It's just about kind of taking them under your wing and making sure that they feel comfortable with everything that's going on, and just acknowledging that they're as big of a part as we, the older people, are in the team. So it's just, I think it's part of the job to not coach them, but to kind of mentor these guys.
Coming up, yeah. Well, you guys are doing a good job of that. Obviously, some good veteran leaders here on the team. Hopefully, we see you air it out a little bit this weekend here, Saturday at Rocky Stone. Going to be a great game. Best of luck in the playoffs, and we'll see you here Saturday.
Thank you very much.
All right, we are at Rocky Stone Field here, joined by Mustangs tailback Cam Morley. Cam, big game coming up this week against St. John. Obviously, final game of the regular season. Trying to get tuned up here for playoffs. Maybe tell us a little bit of what's led to the success here for your offense so far this season here for the Mustangs.
I think our depth on offense has been really well. Our receivers are really good. Really deep at tailback this year, which has been a problem for us for a few years, but we resolved that. I think we got 7 guys, so we don't got to rotate receivers in at tailback, which is nice. Good O-line, and we're always adding quarterbacks into the play. It's great. Yeah.
Like I said, pretty versatile then on the offensive side. You've sort of been a standout tailback here for the Mustangs for a number of years, but versatile where you can actually bump out and play receiver as well, almost maybe similar to a Christian McCaffrey. But like I said, maybe tell us about your sort of, some of your strengths of your game and how flexible and versatile you are here on the offensive side for the Mustangs.
Yeah, sure. Maybe not Christian McCaffrey, but I've played across all the ball. I played both ways, special teams, but playing boundary wide out, boundary slot, I like that. I like to get rough and rowdy, but playing tailback is kind of like my bread and butter, and moving into university play, that's when I started playing tailback, and I kind of just honed in on that one, and I really like it. But it adds, being able to play receiver and running back at the same time. You can kind of do both from each position, so it really adds to the offense. I find Corey puts me in a position to get the ball, and I love that. So
like I said, you got to get the ball in the hands of your playmakers. You're definitely one of those. Tell us a little about maybe your journey in football. You said coming up through Moncton High, went on to play at Acadia. Maybe tell us about how that experience was and how that sort of translates to playing in the Maritime Football League.
Sure, yeah. No, I started at Moncton High 2013, I believe. I was a field wideout under John Allenack, and as the years progressed, I slowly got closer to the box, moved in the slot, moved in the H, and then I moved in the tailback finally when I got to university. But, playing under John Allenack in the wing T, taught me how to get down and dirty in the box. But, when I moved to Acadia, started out as kind of a slot, boundary slot, moved over to tailback. We were a little bit loose there. So, being under guys like Dale Wright, Cole Estabrooks, Cam Davidson, growing my game, it really helped. And, it's helped me, progress to be a coach and be, leader on this team as well. So.
Acadia, one of the best-known programs here in Canadian CIS football. Obviously, Coach Cummins is doing a great job down there with the Axemen. Maybe tell us about your experience of being able to play for such a high-level program.
Yeah, no, so I did 2017, 2018, 2019, and then we were affected by COVID, of course. We won 2 Loney Bowls when I was there. Played with a lot of guys from Moncton, a lot of guys from Moncton High, the Rory Kellys and the Bailey Felt mates. They've moved on and played some pro ball. So, playing, under Jeff Cummins was great. Unfortunately with COVID, had a little bit of a back injury there too. It took me out for a few years, but, being there in Wolfville, was a great place to be. I love my teammates. It's friendships that run for a lifetime.
Yep.
Hundreds of teammates over the years. So, I really enjoy my time there.
Yep. Like you said, had a great career at Acadia. I've been with the Mustangs here for a number of years, a veteran leader, captain on the team. Maybe tell us a little bit about your leadership role in sort of helping mentor some of these young players coming up that are sort of maybe nipping at your heels here a little bit too in the backfield.
Sure, yeah, no problem at all. I think this is my 6th year with the organization.
Yep.
5th year playing. I coached for the 2021 year.
Yep.
During my injury years, but that's all right. Playing with guys like Cale Fogarty back in the day, guys like Dylan Waugh, who's new to the program.
Yep.
These guys I've known for a long time, but it's nice to add them in, play with them, and I feel like we really add to each other. We always say thunder, lightning, but it's kind of turning into both at the same time. Yeah, so I really like those guys, and we got guys like Sam, Danny Spector, who I've coached with or coached for.
Yep.
And I really like having them there. It's fun to teach them, and it's a blessing to be a part of the leadership here with the Mustangs, and I really enjoy it.
Yeah, and like you said, you also sort of give back and do some coaching in the fall as well, and being able to coach some of the players that are coming up through Moncton High, like you said, Danny Spector. Maybe tell a little bit how rewarding that is as well to sort of be involved in the coaching side.
No, absolutely. Yeah, no. So I did 3 years with John Allenak at Moncton High. We'll see if I continue to do a 4th, but guys like Danny, I've yelled at him quite a few times, and sometimes I yell at him at practice, but he understands that I just want to make him better, and I think he's really learned a lot from me as a coach, but also now seeing me as a player, I think he's really wide-eyed, and watching guys like Dylan and the older guys, I think it's really helping his game, and it's showing when he gets the ball because he's making plays.
As well, talking with Coach Terrace and stuff earlier, talking about really how competitive and the caliber of ball the league's really evolved into, especially since starting in the spring, allowing more university caliber players to play. Tell us what your thoughts are sort of on the level of play here in the Maritime League.
Yeah, no, especially this year, I feel like the league's very balanced. You're seeing a lot of teams, a lot of buy-in from, all over the place, where we've played a lot of close games, and teams that might be lower in the rankings are still putting up good points, and they're putting up good offense and defense. There's no walk-through games, which is really nice. I think it speaks to the coaching staff for all across the league, and I think it speaks for everybody's buy-in and involvement. From the executives and the head coaches, and we really appreciate all the players playing and all the guys that are buying in, especially at the university level. It makes the game a lot better. So.
Yep. Yeah, well, like I said, you've done a good job of buying in definitely this year and through the program. Best of luck on Saturday and through the playoffs. I know you got to get ready for practice here, so we'll let you get to her, and we'll get back to some sports action. Good job. Very pleased to be joined by goaltender for the Edmonton Oilers, former New Brunswick native as well, some of you may not know, the one and only Mr. Calvin Pickard. Calvin, welcome back to the show.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah, I appreciate taking some time here for us. Obviously, a busy time for you guys getting ready for the Stanley Cup playoffs starting Saturday night here in Florida. Pretty magical run here for you guys this year. 200-plus days ago, sitting in 31st place to come back and to punch your ticket here to the finals. How much of a ride has it been for your team in overcoming some of the adversity it has this year?
Yeah, you said it. There's been a lot of adversity for sure. Obviously, when I got called up at the start of November, it was, tough times for the Oilers. And, we always knew we could turn it around and had a lot of good stretches. Obviously, we had a 16-game winning streak at one point, which certainly helps in the standings. And then obviously you're going to run into some adversity in the playoffs, and we've handled it really well. Anytime we lose, we come back and win a big game. And, we've been able to deal with the highs and lows really well, and we're excited to get going Saturday.
Well, like you said, every great championship team has to overcome some sort of adversity, some sort of obstacles. And like you said, coming back from 31st place, having that 16-game win streak, how has that really sort of reinforced the confidence here in your team, knowing that regardless of what the score is, you guys have an opportunity to come back in any situation?
For sure. Obviously, the confidence was a little shook when we started 2-9-1, and you never know if you're going to really get out of it. But once you start stringing some wins together, it kind of, makes yourself and the team feel comfortable again. And we got back to 500 by Christmas time and then went on the big long heater. So, We were in a good spot heading down the stretch, and we just wanted to get ourselves ready for our playoff type game, and we did that, and obviously hit the ground running with LA in the first round. Vancouver was a really really tough series, obviously back and forth, physical. It was a very stressful series both ways, and we played really well against Dallas, against a really good team. So it's been such a fun run so far, and we're looking to cap it off.
Yeah, well, like I said, you beat 3 good teams here to get to the final where you're at right now. Like we sort of mentioned off the top of the show here, a lot of sports fans maybe here in New Brunswick may not realize you've got some ties here to New Brunswick and to Moncton. Maybe tell us a little bit about your time growing up here in New Brunswick.
Yeah, for sure. Obviously born in Moncton. My grandma's still out on Grand Lake, just outside Minto. My dad's from there. I love my time there. Obviously, I moved to Winnipeg when I was 7, but still hold some Maritimer in me, and it's a great place to be from.
Yeah, your older brother Chet as well. A couple years older than you, would have played maybe a little bit here in Moncton growing up in the minors. Tell us a little bit about sort of having an older brother who also played goalie, actually played for Team Canada at the World Juniors as well, and sort of how, if he was an inspiration or you sort of aspired to sort of follow in your big brother's footsteps.
Yeah, I definitely followed in his footsteps. He was a goalie about 3 years before I was, and obviously I looked up to him and followed his lead. And I got the chance to play against him in junior hockey out in Seattle. He was in Tri-Cities, and a really cool experience for me. And we're still obviously really close. We talk almost every day, and he's I'm so lucky to call him my brother, and he's a forever. I look up to him forever. So, it's gonna be nice to have him in town here when we drop the puck for Game 3.
Yep. You mentioned some friends and family possibly being able to make it here to the home games here for the Stanley Cup Final. How great has it been for your brother and your family to sort of be along on the ride here with you with the Oilers?
For sure, yeah. No, it's been very exciting. My parents actually came down in the Vancouver series, and that just so happened the time when I got a couple starts in a row. So pretty stressful for them. Obviously, it was my first Stanley Cup playoff action, but it's such a great opportunity and a memorable experience for them and for myself as well to share that with my family. So they're going to be back, and they've been along for the run too.
Yeah. When you look back sort of at the Oilers season so far, there's sort of 2 big lines of demarcation. One was you getting called up, the other being the coaching change. How sort of great has it been to see how far, especially on the defensive side, having Knobloch and Paul Coffey behind the bench, seeing this team improve on the defensive side as much as they have, and really not winning because you're scoring 7 goals anymore, but because you're only allowing 2. Maybe tell us a little about how much that team.
Yeah, it definitely changed our season around. When we were winning the 16 games in a row, it was not just because we were high flying offense. It was because we were defending really well, and that's how you win. And that's how we've been winning the playoffs as well. So as a goalie, it's obviously nice to have a team fully committed to defense and makes our job easy. And we have to go out there and trust our teammates that they're going to do their job, and then we do our job, and we've had results because of it. So it's very important. Obviously, this team in the past obviously has had the persona of a high flying offense, but kind of outscore their problems. But this year's definitely different. We've mastered playing defense first, and the rest takes care of itself. So it's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And, speaking of playing defense, you've been a big part, in that resurgence for the Oilers being called up. I think at one point you were sort of 9-3, I think, in your starts here for the Oilers. Watching you in the net, you're so cool, calm, collected. Maybe tell us a little about how just your presence almost sort of calmed things down when things were getting a little wild in October and November, and being able to sort of guide through some smoother waters here for the Oilers and sort of get.
Yeah, I mean, my first couple starts, obviously, I didn't feel as comfortable as maybe as it looked. Obviously, I didn't play in the league last year, and you never know when you're going to get your last opportunity. So, it's easy to put a lot of pressure on yourself when you're going out there and playing once every couple of weeks. But I settled in. Nauber ended up putting me in the net, every now and then, and I just gained that confidence. And obviously, playing behind such a good team helps out a lot too. So, as the year rolled on, I got to play a lot more towards the end of the year because our schedule is so condensed, and definitely earned that confidence going into the playoffs.
Yeah, like you said, sort of having that confidence. I remember Gretzky asking Coffey since he started coaching, he's like, "Do you still get nervous before the game?" He's like, "Yeah, I still do." Until I walk in the dressing room and see Connor and Leon, and he's like, I sort of don't get as nervous. So, like you said, having that confidence certainly goes a long way. Last time we chatted, I guess you were with the Marlies at that time in the Toronto system. Went on to win the Calder Cup that season. Maybe tell us a little about your experience in sort of having won a championship here in the past, and maybe some of your memories here of hoisting the Calder Cup.
Yeah, obviously a different trophy to win. In the American League, we were pretty stacked that year with Toronto, and we knew going into the playoffs we were definitely probably the favorite. You see a lot of different types of teams in the playoffs, teams that play their younger players a little bit more, and then a little bit more experienced teams in the American League. But it was a great long run too. It was a lot of fun, and that team was a powerhouse for sure. And it was two common themes. We played really good defense on that Toronto team too, and we could win games 1-0 or 2-1 and really stifle the other team. So, defense definitely wins championships, and we're going to look to do that again this Saturday.
Yeah, well, like you said, going to be an exciting series. I meant to ask you, going back to the Dallas series, how loud was the building Game 6 at the final buzzer? Because that place was rocking basically all.
Yeah, obviously we scored a couple early goals, and the roof was going to come off, and then they kind of took it to us for most of the game. But then I think we chipped the puck out. I think it was like 20 seconds left, and it was the loudest I've ever seen any building in my career. It was pretty cool. And then finally the buzzer went off. Felt like the longest 20 seconds ever. But our fans are unbelievable, and I can only imagine how loud it's going to be for Game 3.
Yeah, a big key for your team, obviously, that vaunted power play here with the firepower that you guys have. I'm sure you get to see a little bit in practice as well. How great are these guys at executing here on the man advantage?
Yeah, they're outstanding. I'm privileged to be able to practice against them because they're the best in the world, best power play in the world, and if you take away option A, B, and C, they're going to find D. So everybody's a threat, and I'm just lucky to be on their side.
Yep. Like you said, it's been 31 years since the Canadian teams won a Stanley Cup. You guys primed to have an opportunity to bring the cup home to Canada here. Obviously, the building was rocking in Edmonton. What's it going to feel like sort of having all of Canada now sort of firmly behind the Oilers here, watching you play the rest of the way here?
Yeah, it's exciting. Obviously, when you're a kid, you watch all the Canadian teams, and you're always rooting for them. And obviously there hasn't been a Stanley Cup won by a Canadian team in a while. But I feel like when you're in the moment, you'll probably look back on it and see how cool it is. But when you're in the moment, it's still business, and you're still just trying to do your job and going to work every day and trying to do your thing. So I think when you look back on it, it'll be pretty special.
Yep. Well, like I said, you got a nice series coming up here with the Panthers. Looking forward to all the action. Saturday night gets kicked off in Florida. Been following your career since your days with the Marlies. Look forward to seeing you again here, hopefully hoisting another cup in Oil Blue here with the Oilers. So super congratulations on all your success. Appreciate taking some time here for us again, and look forward to chatting with you in the future.
Of course. Thanks for having me.